My whole life, my mother told me one thing, that my father hated me, not left us, not couldn't stay, no.
She said he couldn't stand me. So when the hospital called to tell me he died, I didn't cry. I didn't even ask questions. I just said, okay. But 3 days later, I heard his final voicemail, and everything I believed about my life collapsed. I don't remember my father. Not his face. Not his voice. Not even a single moment with him. All I had were my mother's stories, and in every single one of them, he was the villain. He left because of you, she told me once when I was 9. I remember standing in the kitchen, holding a crayon drawing I made at school. It was a stick figure family, me, my mom, and a tall man I imagined as my dad. I asked her, do you think he'd like this? She didn't even look at it. He wouldn't care. That was the first time something inside me cracked. Birthdays were the worst. Every year, I'd secretly hope, maybe this time he'd show up. Maybe this time he'd call. But every year, my mom would say the same thing before I even blew out the candles. Don't expect anything from him. And every year, she was right. No calls. No gifts. Nothing. By the time I turned 13, I stopped hoping. By 15, I stopped asking. By 17, I started believing her. He didn't just leave. He chose not to love me. But there were small things. Things that didn't quite make sense. Like the time I found an old photo album in the attic. It was hidden behind a stack of winter blankets. Inside were pictures I had never seen before. Photos of my mom smiling, laughing, and next to her, a man. Tall, warm eyes, his arm around her like she was the only person in the world. I knew immediately that was him, my father. But something felt wrong, because in every photo, he was looking at her. But in one picture, he wasn't. He was looking down at something in his arms. Something small, wrapped in a blanket. I took the album downstairs. Who's this? I asked. My mom froze, just for a second. Then she walked over, took the album from my hands and shut it. That's nothing you need to worry about. But that's him, right? That's. I said, drop it. Her voice was sharper than I'd ever heard it. And that's when I noticed something. She wasn't angry. She was scared. Years passed. I stopped digging, stopped asking. Some part of me didn't want the truth anymore, because at least the lie made sense. Then one morning, I got a call. Is this Emily Carter? Yes, I'm calling from St. Mary's Hospital. I'm sorry to inform you that your father passed away early this morning. I remember sitting there in silence. No shock, no tears, just emptiness. Oh, I said. That's okay. The woman on the phone paused. Would you like to come? No. I hung up and went back to scrolling on my phone. Because why would I care? He never cared about me. 3 days later, I got a notification. Voicemail. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me tap it. At first, all I heard was static. Then, a voice. Low, weak, shaking. Hey, I don't know if this is still your number. My heart stopped. It's me. I had never heard his voice before, but somehow, I knew. I've been trying to reach you for years. Static. Your mom, she won't let me see you. My breath caught. I don't know what she told you about me, but I need you to know. I never left because I wanted to. Silence. Then a quiet, broken whisper. I never stopped loving you. I replayed that voicemail again and again and again, because if what he said was true, then my entire life was a lie. I sat there, staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. No, I whispered to myself. This doesn't make sense. My mom wouldn't lie about something like that, right? She wouldn't keep me away from my own father, for no reason. But then again, why would he lie? Why would a dying man spend his last breath pretending to love someone he hated? I checked the message again. That's when I noticed something I missed before. There wasn't just one voicemail. There were more. Older ones. Dates going back. Years. My chest tightened as I tapped the next one. Hey, it's me again. I know you're probably not getting these, but today's your birthday. You're 12 now, right? I still remember the way you used to draw those little stars everywhere. I kept them. All of them. I hope one day you'll hear this. Happy birthday, kiddo. I froze. 12. That was the year I cried myself to sleep, because he didn't show up, because my mom told me he forgot you. My breathing got heavier. No, no, no. I scrolled further. More voicemails. Every year, every birthday, every single one. He called. That's when something inside me shifted. For the first time in my life, I didn't want to believe my mother. I needed proof, real proof. So I did something I never thought I would do. I went into her room. My mom was at work. The house was silent. Too silent. I stood in her doorway for a full minute before stepping inside. It felt wrong, like I was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. But I had to know. I started small. Drawers. Closet. Old boxes. Nothing. Just normal stuff. Until I reached her nightstand. The bottom drawer. Locked. My heart started pounding. Why would she lock a drawer? What was she hiding? I looked around, then reached under the lamp. And there it was. A small key. My hands trembled as I unlocked the drawer. Inside was a box. Old. Dusty. Hidden. I slowly lifted the lid. And my entire world shattered. Inside were dozens of envelopes. All addressed to me. Same handwriting. Same name. My name. I picked one up. It was dated 10 years ago. I opened it carefully. The paper inside was slightly worn, like it had been read before. But not by me. Hey, sweetheart. I don't know if this letter will ever reach you. Your mom won't answer my calls anymore. She moved without telling me where. I've been trying everything to find you. I just want you to know. I never left you. I never would. I love you more than anything in this world. My vision blurred. I grabbed another letter. And another. And another. All the same. All filled with love, desperation, pain. This wasn't one lie. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was years of stolen truth. Years of silence that weren't his choice. And then something hit me. A memory. Faint. Blurry. But real. I was younger. Maybe 6 or 7. Standing outside school. It was raining. I remember a man. Across the street. Watching me. Like he wanted to come closer. But couldn't. At the time, I thought he was a stranger. Now, my stomach dropped. What if he wasn't? I rushed back to my phone. Pressed the next message. I saw you today. You were standing outside your school in the rain. I wanted to run to you so badly, but your mom said if I came near you, she'd call the police. Static, heavy breathing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I dropped my phone. My legs gave out, and I collapsed to the floor. She didn't just lie. She didn't just hide things. She kept him away. On purpose. She let me believe that I was unwanted, that I was the reason he left. Tears streamed down my face, but this time, they weren't just from pain. They were from anger. How could she do this to me? How could she do this to him? I heard the front door open. My heart stopped. Emily, my mom called out. I'm home. I quickly wiped my tears, but it was too late. The box was open. The letters were everywhere. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of her anymore. I stood up slowly, holding one of the letters in my hand, and when she walked into the room, I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "Why did you lie to me about him? My whole life, I thought my father abandoned me." But as I stood there, holding those letters, I realized something far worse. He didn't leave me. I was taken from him. My mom stopped in the doorway. Her eyes moved from me to the letters scattered across the floor, to the open box. And for a moment, neither of us said anything. "Emily," she said slowly, "what are you doing in my room?" My voice didn't shake this time. Reading the truth, her expression hardened instantly. "You shouldn't have opened that. Then maybe you shouldn't have hidden it." Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. I stepped closer. "Why did you lie to me about him?" "I didn't lie," she snapped. "I protected you." "Protected me?" I laughed, but there was nothing funny about it. "You told me he hated me." Her jaw tightened. "He would have hurt you." "No," I said, holding up the letter. "You hurt me." For a second, she looked like she might say something real, something honest. But then, she shook her head. "You don't understand." "Then make me understand." Her voice dropped. "He was going to take you away from me." I froze. What? He had money, lawyers, connections. He thought he could just take you. That's not what these say. I shouted. You think he'd write the truth in letters? She fired back. He wanted full custody. Said I was unstable. My heart pounded. Were you? That question hit her harder than anything else.
She didn't respond, didn't deny it.
Just looked away. And, in that moment, I knew. You didn't protect me, I whispered. You isolated me. You made me hate him. I spent my whole life thinking I wasn't enough for my own father. My voice cracked when he was the only one fighting for me. I did it because I loved you, she suddenly screamed. The room went silent. Tears filled her eyes, but they didn't change anything anymore. I couldn't lose you, she said, her voice trembling. He already had everything. I wasn't going to let him take you too. So you decided to erase him? I shot back. I slowly picked up my phone. There's one more message. Her face went pale. You don't have to listen to that. I think I do. I pressed play. The room filled with his voice.
Weak, fading,
but still full of love. Hey, I don't have much time left. The doctors, they said it's getting worse. Long pause, shaky breath. I tried to see you again last week. I stood outside your house for almost an hour. My heart stopped. My mind flashed back. Just last week. I remembered.
Someone knocking.
My mom answering the door quickly. Stepping outside. Closing it behind her. I didn't think anything of it. I saw you through the window. You were right there. But I didn't want to cause trouble. I just wanted to see you one last time. My knees went weak. I grabbed onto the table to stay standing. I don't know what your mom told you about me, but I need you to know this. I never hated you. Not for a second. Tears streamed down my face. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so proud of you, even if I never got to say it. His voice broke. I love you. I always have. Static. Goodbye. The message ended, but I couldn't breathe because the truth was louder than anything now. He was there. He was so close. And I didn't even know. I turned to my mom.
Slowly.
You let him stand outside that door. My voice was barely above a whisper. And you didn't tell me. She didn't answer.
Didn't even try.
I walked past her, back to the box, and at the very bottom, I found something else. A small wrapped package, covered in dust.
My name written on it.
In his handwriting. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a necklace. Simple, beautiful, and a note. For your 18th birthday. I don't know if I'll be there, but I hope one day you'll wear this and think of me. Love, Dad. I broke. Completely. I spent my whole life hating a man who never stopped loving me. And the one person I trusted the most was the reason I never knew